Hello everyone, welcome to Fiaura. Did you like the intro? Jingles likes it, even if his car insurance doesn't. So what do we have here today? As the video says, it's the T-80 review, finally! Viewed every other Tier 7 main battle tank but this one, because this one's been extremely difficult for me to get used to. So, we are going to be comparing Mr. T-80 main battle tank to its main battle tank counterparts that it has to compete with at Tier 7. Those of you who are new, this is kind of how this works. So all of these vehicles are fully upgraded, fully equipped with what I consider my preferred retrofit style on them. With Tier 3 retrofits, of course, that are available if you know you only have the Tier 2 one, then you only have the Tier 2 one. And it must compete against... Ooh, I'm going to have to fix this. I'll be right back. Hello everyone, welcome back. I forgot that we have the new Chinese tanks. I needed to go purchase that real quick. So, let's start with the Challenger 1 versus the T-80. Now, the T-80 does have a much higher alpha and higher penetration. The highest penetration, as a matter of fact, at Tier 7. It therefore has a higher DPM, slower reload time, significantly less hit points, a very, very, very weak hull in comparison to the Challenger, and a weak turret in comparison to the Challenger. We're going to go over the weakness of the turret momentarily. In addition, it does, however, have better camouflage rating due to its smaller silhouette. But like all Russian MBTs, it has a terrible view range. Same gun depression, oddly enough for a Russian. It's quicker to rotate, but significantly worse accuracy. And it has a worse aim time. Let's compare it to the Leopard 2. Leopard 2, you have equivalent hit points in what I consider their ideal configurations. That's something to note. It has the penetration and the alpha and the DPM over the Leopard 2. It has better hull armor on paper. But in reality, the Leopard 2 hull armor is better sloped. It has worse turret armor. It is slower to accelerate. It has better camouflage, but again, worse view range. It has worse gun depression off the front and sides, but better off the rear. It does have a quicker traverse. It is just as accurate, and it does have a better aim time. The Leopard 2 advantage, of course, being that it has a quick missile reload, whereas this thing's missile reload is pretty damn slow. The M1 Abrams. Now, in theory, the Abrams has stronger front armor, but because the front plate is also just one flat plate that doesn't have a very high angle, the T-80 can actually punch it flat out. In addition to this, at least in my experience, it's been able to do that repeatedly. Even the MBT-70's been able to do that one. They have buffed the M1 Abrams lower plate, the front plate, a little bit, but it's not quite enough to stop these type of rounds. In the meantime, let's get back to doing the breakdown. The M1 Abrams almost beats the T-80 at its own game of DPM, but it does not have near the penetrating power nor alpha strike damage of a T-80. You will get off your second shot much quicker, and you will get off your third and fourth shots before he gets off his third. But he's still technically going to kill you first if you're not careful. It technically says it has worse turret armor, but its turret armor is actually better sloped, believe it or not, and made of a better composite. The M1 Abrams is faster, worse camouflage, better view range. Seems to be the trend here, that sitting still, the T-80 can actually stay invisible to other main battle tanks. Better gun depression than the T-80. It's not as quick to rotate, though, so the T-80 is very quick to rotate. Good news. It is not as accurate as the Abrams, but has a quicker aim time. Seems to be a theme that we're running with here. Now we compare it to the Chinese tank, the Type 92. Again, the T-80 wins on alpha, but not penetration. That's right. The Chinese 125 has better pen, but lower damage. It again wins on damage per minute. They have the same reload speed with the gear I've equipped them with, and the commanders are both the same. Chinese tank has more hit points. Go figure. Chinese tank has a better hull and a better turret. Believe it or not, the Chinese tank turret is significantly better than the T-80s at deflecting rounds. The Chinese tank is also faster at the top end, but not as quick to accelerate. Seems like the theme is the T-80 has the better camo rating, so sitting still in the T-80 might be to your advantage if you're behind a bush and unsure of where your enemy is. But you remember, you do not have the better gun depression here. You are quicker to rotate in the T-80, but you have worse accuracy than the Chinese, and you have a longer aim time. So the theme we're getting here is that the T-80 is the stealthiest main battle tank, the highest alpha damage, the second highest penetration, but don't let that fool you, that missile will chew straight through just about anything. It does not have a missile defense system or an ERA package, by the way. It just doesn't have it. It has no additional defensive systems. It's rather naked, so to speak. So, how does its armor configuration hold up? Not very well. The front armor comes out to 372 millimeters, excuse me. To illustrate how thin that is, a flat shot from a Challenger will penetrate the front upper plate. The lower plate down here comes out to only 310 millimeters, meaning Tier 5 tanks can potentially penetrate its lower front plate. The front of its turret is 510 millimeters thick, from here to here. These two hooks are the front turret zones. However, the front of its turret is very flat, especially towards the bottom of the turret. To illustrate this type of weakness, with 440 penetration, the Leopard 2 can penetrate the front face of this turret if it gets a high roll. Other T-80s can penetrate the front face of your turret. Type 92s can penetrate the front face of your turret. Any Tier 8 or Tier 9 vehicle will punch the front face of your turret. If they can shoot at anything behind here, your armor is cut in half. So if you're not looking at them, you are potentially risking getting penetrated in the side turret. Is there some good news here, Fiaura? Kinda, sorta, maybe. Your front turret also will not stop missiles. 850 millimeters of frontal turret armor is not even going to stop your own 977 millimeter penetration missile on a minimum penetration roll. Will still penetrate the front of your turret. This is not a tank you can really rely on the armor as much as you can the gun. The side armor only being 84 millimeters thick. I'm going to illustrate how thin that is if you don't hit this side skirt for you right now. Are you ready for this? Because I promise you it's going to surprise the hell out of you. The Fox has 103 millimeters of penetration. That means it can penetrate your side at shallow angles with its autocannon. Any side armor exposure on the T-80 is fatal. Period. You want to shield this hull as much as you can. It is not going to be reliable for you at all. Furthermore, this driver section here, all of these windows are vulnerable spots. This lower plate here and this lower plate here are vulnerable spots. This hump right here is the transmission. Hitting this will break the engine. It won't catch you on fire, but it will break the engine. This is enough of an angle to penetrate through the front drive wheel into the side armor. This up here is a penetrating hit for full damage. This little arc over here. This over here is a partial pin. This gunner side's a full pin. This up here, this hatch is a partial pin. This hatch is a partial pin. This hatch is no damage. The turret ring, as you can clearly see, is extremely exposed and vulnerable as well. So, that's how you hurt it. The armor is not going to hold for you, for the most part. The advantages of the T-80 are quite clear-cut. It is quick to turn its turret and hull. It is the stealthiest of the main battle tanks, meaning you do have the advantage when it comes to staying unseen until you fire. And its cannon is massively destructive. However, its armor is not strong, and it has the lowest hit points of any Tier 7 main battle tank. Let's go take a look at my first guest star replay and find out just what the T-80 is capable of. So we're here on Lost Island with Igor, aka Schnicket, in his T-80 main battle tank. He's even customized it a little bit. I can't wait for them to add the zoom options for this. Now he is driving through here, getting ready to take on his opponents. I wish him the utmost of luck as he cruises onto Lost Island. Gotta remember, clicking changes tanks no matter how the clicking happened. However, he is going to the one spot on Lost Island that I rather avoid, and that is the center. Reason being is because it's a flat-out slugging match. Not ideal for most of the tanks I play. But for the T-80, if you're going to have a peaky-pokey slugging match, it's going to have a good day. Now he's looking for shots, if you're curious, over there at those guys trying to cross over to engage his allies. And he thinks he might have one. But then he sees, oh, there's a weasel, like, right next to me. Now, I wish that the replay system would show the ammunition he's loaded with. I get it's a very early access, work in progress. But I would like for it to show the ammunition he's loaded with, as well as the retrofits they are equipped with. I would also like this in the observer mode. Ooh, that was a nice hit, and I believe we heard a heat shell go off there. That was a low roll for a heat shell, though, but that was a heat indeed, and that weasel did not get away from that encounter. You will, however, notice that the one time the weasel fired at him, it did in fact hurt him. No, actually, that wasn't getting hurt by the fire, that was getting hurt by him ramming it. The weasel probably did not anticipate a T-80 to come down that aggressively onto his head. Remember, guys, aggression wins in armored warfare. He's lining up a shot and decimates the Stingray 2. This thing has a quicker aim time than most main battle tanks, which is one of its advantages. As you can clearly see, it has allowed him to get 2 very quick, and I dare say, dirty kills. But now he's got to come around here. And this is what you should be doing. If you have not encountered resistance, you push until you encounter resistance. You take a single long-range shot, and then you just keep moving. Oh, that's a hell of a shot right between the bridges. I'm imagining he has a chrome barrel liner to increase its accuracy and give it a slight damage boost. And that's why he's able to hit these shots consistently. His team now have the 2 main battle tanks up north surrounded and are picking them apart. There are no artillery for him to go hunting, and he realizes very quickly that his base is under attack. Now this is where the T-80 starts to shine. Oh shit! He got very lucky there. Part of his side is exposed to that Leopard 2. It's very surprising that he did not get penetrated by either of those 2 vehicles. Centauro 120 is also a dangerous beast. I refer to it as the blunderbuss because that's what it's like firing. Ooh, nice AP hit there. He's still got AP loaded, of course, because he's looking for that leopard. And where are they? Oh, wow. That is a lucky set of bounces on his lower plate. That should have actually probably penetrated his lower plate there. But because the lower plate's actually angled downward, it's bouncing. And there's another ricochet off his upper plate, no less. You can see it right there next to his gun, next to his driver's port. Right there is where that one just bounced off of. He comes up after the Leopard 2, who's not smart enough to shoot at his underbelly. He does ricochet, but he's doing the right thing here. He's pushing right on in. He's getting right in this guy's face and beating on him aggressively. They are taking weasel fire, so he turns to face the weasel because he knows his side armor is too weak to even stop the little weasel's gun. And look what we have here, an M1A1 Abrams, a Tier 8 right in front of him. So far, he's only fought other Tier 7 opponents. And there is the power of the T-80's gun, right through the Tier 8 Abrams lower plate. No questions asked. He bounced the second shot. But that first shot, right through that plate like butter. His team right now is struggling to maintain this into a win, though. He gets a side shot in the Abrams' rear side and pulls back before the guy can shoot. Again, that quicker aim time is helping him here. Ooh, got another decent shot. He's not firing fully aimed shots, by the way. He's firing partial aims. The Abrams throws down smoke, but because he is proxy lit, the smoke doesn't help the Abrams, but it's helping Snicket here stay invisible to the Abrams fire. And here comes a weasel. Snicket, being well aware of his surroundings, goes to engage the weasel, who he is now chasing to try to get to. And look at the power of this thing's engine. He's able to keep up with the weasel and continue to put fire out at it. Ooh, but the weasel claims his T-90 friend. It's 3-3. He comes up over at the weasel. He doesn't quite get a shot because of his bad gun depression. He misses another round. That weasel is just teasing him and keeping him out of the main fight, because if he were to just turn his back on the weasel, he's risking it coming up behind him and biting him in the butt. Quite literally. He sees this other weasel making a break for it, and his team is suddenly losing. The weasel players are being very, very good about this. He rams it to stop it and blows it to kingdom come. That's what you gotta do in a main battle tank sometimes, folks, is just flat out ram those AFVs to get them to stop. Up, the Leopard 2 has a weasel in his rear. He won't last long. He's done. An HE round from the 125 gun, by the way, will knock out that Abrams. He does not actually have to load Sabo, which I think he has switched to HE based upon how long that reload took since we just heard the breach closed. He just has to get a hit with high explosive. And that building is destructible. Oh, weasel fire. He fired an AP shell. Oh, God, no. A high explosive shell. A frag round right now would win this game. I think that was it. Oh, the weasel is... Oh, the weasel's on reload. He even has his side. He's got to get back. He's got to get some cover. He's got to cover up from this guy or he's dead. Weasel trying his best. Oh, nice. I would have used heat. That would have killed it. He's got to get the kill on the weasel. The weasel's running in a straight line away from him, which is the mistake. You want to run perpendicular, not parallel from your foe in order to avoid their fire, scoring him his 5th kill and an Ace Tanker award before the weasel could get away. See, if the weasel could have gotten away and gotten to longer range, he would have been in trouble because that weasel autocannon would have penetrated his side. More than likely, the weasel would have marked him to do maximum damage to his side armor. Now that that is settled, let's go take a look at the final stats before you... Alright, here we have it. So, Snicket here, my first subscriber replay, has scored the Gold Star, the Sniper Award for a Sharpshooter Award for accuracy, and the Ace Tanker. 610,187 credits, 27,163 experience points. And I don't believe this is a special weekend either. Surprise, surprise. He did 6,100 damage, taking advantage of the strengths of this tank and that it has just enough armor that if you stay mobile, you can deliver some serious damage, while at the same time remembering that he can turn the vehicle and that he needs to be super aggressive. Aggression wins armored warfare, guys. I can't stress this enough. Now, he did get a special event multiplier of ×2. Yay. So that explains his huge amount of credits here. And he has managed to rack up quite a nice game for us. His armor mitigated 5,482 points of damage, which means, as I said, it has enough armor. But a couple of times I think he should have been penetrated. The Centauro 120 shooting at a slight side angle should have pinned. So should the Leopard 2, which would have changed this match drastically and killed him outright. To illustrate this, the Leopard 2 does 480 average damage, and the Centauro 120 has an average of over 700. The two combined shots would have killed him. So good job. Also a lot of ricochets here that kept him alive. So that is the PvP footage of the T-80. We're now going to get into the PvE mode. Let's go take a look. Welcome everyone to Operation Starry Night. This is considered one of the more difficult PvE missions you can undertake, and I am in firm agreement of this. It is actually one of the hardest PvE missions you can possibly undertake. I am in the T-80 as promised. As you can see, I didn't actually mount any frag shells for this one because we are in PvE mode, and I find frag shells to not be the most useful. I've only mounted Sabo and Heat. For PvP, I do recommend you bring a couple frags because they will kill the enemy and may even save your life.
Black Company. It seems that the lines of Nequiel are a constant thorn in our sides. It appears they are coming in this town to use it. Looks like the Lions have prepared knowing that for their continued. They will probably burn the farm to the ground if they can't get their way. So they can't use it to burn the field.
I really wish they would fix it where only one sound file could play at a time. It's just a suggestion, Obsidian.
Identify.
Hi! How are you? Okay, we just ate some frag from a bunch of tanks, and I just said hello to a BMP-3. How are you? Even at half damage, that's still significant. And I am taking a beating here from these HE rounds. Good night. That's why you bring heat, folks. That is why you bring the heat. Oh. Hi there. How's your anus? Is it prepared? Critical hit. I love shooting those vents with heat. Shit. Woohoo! That is an ammunition rack. Ah, I hit the front of the turret. Come on, load. I want to take this guy out. There's my 5th kill already. This thing's alpha is so nice in PvE. Especially when you've got heat loaded. Defend the next zone, you say. Now, I do want to at least fire one missile, so we'll make our next round a missile round. I think it's going to have a particularly long reload, though, because just like the T-90 MS, which we will be reviewing next. I know I haven't given the T-series of tanks a lot of love, so I'm going to be giving them all the love I can. We're going to be reviewing, because I was waiting to get the T-80 review so I could get the Tier 9 review as well to show you that it might be worth it if this is your play style. Nice hit! Gotta love that chrome barrel liner. Yeah, 11 seconds on the missile, by the way. We're going to save a couple of heat shells. No pen, okay. So it's not the universal solution that we would like it to be. And I got artillery landing around me, of course. I gotta wait for him to pop up! Didn't tag him right in the face. Just keep your front armor towards him. Don't give him any side. That's the whole... Oof! I think he got a side shot in there. Oh no, I think he got me in the turret ring. Ah, come on, advance. We're going to try another missile. Because it's an extra 4-second reload, but the penetration on it is massive. And that's what I want to illustrate. That's actually my 6th kill. Wow, I have not killed anything in a while. I've just been blowing shit up. Ow! Hi PZH2000, how are you? I'm doing lovely. Thanks for asking. That is a Leopard 2A6. And it is just showing me front armor, so I cannot actually do anything with him. Or can I? I can hit the roof armor. Let him have a missile.
Nailed them.
Ooh, it will go in if the anti-missile system doesn't save him. That's good news. Wasn't quite sure that would work.
Ammo up. Incoming.
I gotta wait. Why is the arty always shooting at me?
Incoming.
Leave me alone! I wish our BMP-3 would give us some lights. Oh my god, that wasn't even in the same ballpark. I'm literally shredded because our BMP-3 and our XM8 are not giving us any reconnaissance here. At all.
I was worried there for a moment.
I'm pretty sure I'm dead. I'm blind, by the way. This tank is blind as a bat. A bat, by the way, in a soundproof or in a room with no sound. Completely and utterly blind when it comes to seeing the enemy. And as you can see, I've taken an absolute pounding with high explosive and a couple of sabos. This tank is particularly vulnerable to high explosive. It has no spaced armor. It has no ERA. So any high explosive that hits you is going to hurt you. In addition, you've clearly seen that the front armor is rather mediocre at best. And the gun is woefully inaccurate. That's, I think, my third or fourth no-pen shot in the last minute. Because the shot doesn't go exactly where you tell it. And it's just something consistent you have to live with. I mean, this is what you get with the T-80. You get massive firepower, but it really needs to be up close and personal, but you don't have enough armor to stop most of the shit being shot at you. So do expect to get penetrated if you're exposed for too long, or if your scouts will not scout. You are almost entirely reliant on them to provide you with reconnaissance. And be smart about the reconnaissance they do provide. And of course I can't penetrate the side of a T-90 MS turret still, except for at the very back. Got him. Okay, at this point we just have to survive because the enemy cannot cap in time. I, however, am going to move up and see if I can see anything worth shooting. Because I'm like that. I'll take a 10th kill. That sounds like a fair plan right there. Alright, we're going to zoom in on this guy next. Oh, yeah. Nice high roll. That's it. Whew. Fight for your life. You really have to have scouts with the T-80. You are pretty blind, and moving is going to take that 16% camouflage rating you had and reduce it to about 5 or 6%. So be prepared, and every time you fire, you will get spotted. So just be prepared. You fire, you find cover. But let's take a look at the final stats of this PvE match, and you guys will see that I kind of know what I'm talking about. I did not get the blue star. I did get target and shooter. The blue star goes to our BMP-3M, who did a bunch of scouting for us. But not quite enough for my taste, because I was getting beat on and couldn't see what was shooting me. As you can see, it earns a fair amount of credits, even when you have to use your maintenance kit or your field repair kit. And I do some assist damage, not a lot, but the damage it causes per shot is the key factor here. With 30 shots that landed on target, and some of those being ricochets, with only 26 penetrating hits, that means that my average damage was 569. Right at where the Sabo's average damage is, and I was using heat a lot too. But that's what it does. It's that much fun. Now for PvP equipment, I highly recommend. Oh right, this one can't equip HE. I'm sorry, I stand fully fucking corrected. My bad. That is a defect of the T-80. You can't have high explosive. High explosive would make this tank very nice. Can you have high explosive on the T-90M? I think you can have it on the T-90. Yeah, you have it on the T-90MS. You can have a thermobaric ATGM if you want to go high explosive ATGM. And you have it on the T-72. That's a strange feature. You have it on the T-90. You have thermobaric ATGMs and you have high explosive on the T-90. That's a very strange thing for the T-80 to lack an HE round with its fully upgraded gun. Have it with its 2 previous guns. And then the T-72A to have HE rounds, of course, with fin stabilized frag. That's a very strange thing indeed. I guess when I was grinding up through the T-80, I was firing the frag shell until I got the final gun. Not that I have to grind anymore, I have a press count. But that's everything, guys. I stand corrected. You do not have HE rounds with the T-80, and it is a defect, in my opinion, to not have the ability to fire HE for some reason. So you have the choice here with these 2 guns. An actual choice has to occur. Do you want high explosive, have to rely on your missiles, which aren't even... Wow, you don't even get a choice. You really need this upgrade. Oh my god, I just realized you don't even get a choice because of how much more penetration these 2 have. You just have to take it. Ouch. Hey, Obsidian, can we get some high explosive frag for that last gun, please? Anyway, moving on. So, I hope all of you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, shoot the like button with your mighty T-80 125mm boomstick. If you don't have one of those, shoot it with one of the 120s I bet you have in your garage. If you would like to see more stuff about Fiaura, slam on the subscribe button full throttle, and I will be here every day with Armored Warfare, World of Tanks, sometimes World of Warships and Steel Ocean, and occasionally the Heliborn video. If you want to support the channel, you can do so through clicking on the ad at the end of the video and going and checking out the sponsor of the day, or you can check out the Patreon page and offer $1 or $2 a month. I don't ask for much, seriously. Don't give me too much, I'll freak out. But that's also how you become a moderator for my live streams, which happen right here on YouTube. So don't go looking for me on Twitch, they're right here. Lastly, there's the previous review. It's of the Stingray 2 after the .14 buff, as well as, for those who are new, there's a Facebook group, a Twitter group, and a Steam group all in the description below. If you want to keep up with the crazy shit I'm doing, that's the best way to do it. In the meantime, from my house to yours, this is Fiaura, officially signing out for right now. Bye-bye, everyone, and engage them from the rear. I'm looking for a shot on the Challenger across the way, and I see the T-80 going, so I say, okay.